On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks escape the Toronto Raptors with a win, a clutch win. Let's talk about how the Mavs got there, what it means for the Mavericks, and why'd they take their foot off the gas. On today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great, Rusty.
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And welcome. You're Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and channel manager of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we let it ride. Let it ride. Thanks for being in every day or making Locked On Mavs your first listen today. Subscribe to our free Locked On Mavs newsletter. Check the QR code in the corner for your one-stop shop for the best news and analysis on the Dallas Mavericks and the NBA straight to your inbox, or check the link in the description. You can start a season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And joining me from the great Slightly Biased YouTube channel, the post-game prodigy, the clutch crooner. What you got for me, Slightly Biased?
Just they're stat padding that clutch record.
Got to make up for the beginning of the season.
Got to make up for it. Who were they playing a few nights ago when something similar happened, where they were up all night and then it got close down the stretch?
They just keep going. They just keep going back to the same playbook. It's the same as Andre Drummond, just like missing a layup to get an offensive rebound, to pad his stats. Right?
It's smart.
So, today's
episode, year, you won't remember it.
That's right. It'll just be a number. It'll just be a 1 in the win column under clutch wins. It'll be a 1 in the win column for the game tonight. We'll talk about the Mavs versus the Raptors. We'll talk about the games of Luka and Kyrie. We'll talk about some of the other contributions they got in this game. But let's start here, Slightly Biased. Mavs up by 24 in the third quarter. Felt like they were cruising to the win. Luka and Kyrie were both drilling threes, nailing shots all over the place. And then all of a sudden, the Raptors go on an 11-0 run to end that third quarter. It's only a 13-point game, and you're going, okay, all right, Mavs kind of playing with their food. Even Devin Harris and Mark Followill on the broadcast were talking about Mavs can't play with their food tonight because this Raptors team is scrappy. They're not, I don't think they're very good, but they're very scrappy, and they can catch you off guard sometimes. And then it just kept, like the lead just kept weaning down a little bit more. All of a sudden, it was like an 8-point game, and then it was a 5-point game, and then you got a couple of clutch buckets that I want to talk about. It's 114-108, so it's a 6-point game. Mavs call a timeout. They put Luka back in the game. It's Luka, Kyrie, Dinwiddie, PJ Washington, and Lively. That's the lineup they've been closing these games recently. Kyrie drives, gets the alley-oop to Lively. I thought that was a clutch play. Mavs go back up by 8 there. Luka then gets fouled. He hits both free throws, some more clutch free throws. Mavs go up by 8 again. Scotty Barnes tries to ISO on Lively, doesn't work. Tries to ISO on Luka, and then Ochai Agbaji misses a 3. And then you get the Kyrie scoop drive and layup with 1:45 left. I thought it was another really big clutch play after some wild turnovers back and forth by both Scotty Barnes and PJ Washington that we'll talk about. And then a minute left. Maybe the clutchest thing that happened in this game was a challenge. Again, stop me if you've heard this before. The Mavs win a challenge in the last couple of minutes here. Lively had an incredible defensive sequence. Got a stop. Then a block on Pirtle that looked like a goaltend. In real time, to me, it looked like a goaltend. Yeah. And then you go back and check it, and it wasn't a goaltend. The Mavs get a successful challenge. And then at that point, it was, then PJ Washington gets fouled on the other end, hits 2 free throws, 2 more clutch free throws from PJ, massive, and then the Mavs get a win. What stands out to you in the last 3 or 4 or 5 minutes that we just went over there? The Mavs got some clutch plays there.
That was an incredible sequence by Derrick Lively, because
huge.
If that was a goaltend, or if Jakob Poeltl gets the rebound on that initial block and gets a finish, it's a 3-point game with what was it, a minute left? Around a minute left?
Yeah, minute 2 left.
Minute 2 left. Like, that game could go a lot of different directions at that point. But not only does it do that, but then he wins the tip, and then I think the Mavericks get free throws on the other end.
That's the one. That's the one where PJ falls down, and then the Raptors challenge it, and they don't get the challenge, and then PJ hits the 2 free throws, which were clutch free throws. We should give PJ credit for those too.
Clutch free throws, and that pretty much iced the game right there. So that was a game-winning sequence, game-sealing sequence, I guess I should say, for Derrick Lively. I mean, that was a that second block on Pirtle, the recovery, that second jump. I mean, that's an incredible block.
Tim Cato, our good friend over at DLLS, tweeted, "There are not 50 players better than Dereck Lively after that block." Agree, disagree?
I mean, I have to sit down and map it out, but I think in my preseason one, I had him in the 60s. So,
I mean, he's up there, and I'm sure there are people that have fallen back this season so far.
For sure.
I mean, Jokic just lost to the Wizards, so I don't know if we can.
Yeah, true. Jokic definitely outside the top 50 for me.
Can't lose to the Wizards and still be top 50 player.
Yeah. Jamal Murray was in my top 50. I'll tell you who's not in my top 50 anymore.
That's one right there. It's just what Lively brings to the game. His ability to he defended, I thought, really well in this game in a bunch of different areas. The numbers aren't going to pop out to you. Just 7 points, 6 boards, 2 assists. Had only 2 blocks, which are in that sequence right there, but had a couple of just stood up against Scotty Barnes or some other players that were going at him at the rim, was a deterrent at the rim. And man, he changes the game for the Mavericks. His ability to step out and defend has been a lot better this season. He's just been a versatile defender for the Mavericks that they have desperately needed, and stayed out of foul trouble in this one.
Yeah. He was really good tonight for the Mavs. He's been really good down the stretch of games for them, just giving them, like you said, some defensive versatility. And he was 5 of 6, I think, 4 or 5 from the free throw line tonight, something like that. So
5 of 6,
5 of 6 from the free throw line. And that's, to me, probably the biggest weakness in his game currently. So especially down the stretch of games, late in games, he was 1 of 2 in clutch free throws tonight. But, at that point in time, when he was at the free throw line, the game was pretty much over. So, he was awesome tonight. And he's been so big for this Mavericks team.
Massive. It's just great to have that backbone that you can put back in the game and go, all right, we don't have to worry about our backline defense, because for so many years the Mavericks were worried about their backline defense, and if the perimeter defense faltered at all of a sudden it was going to be a layup right at the rim, right? And now to have somebody back there that you can rely on. I mean, we were going over our duos of best center duos between Lively and Gafford at Rollertown this weekend. And there's a couple we put above them that I was like, oh man, I think we had to move these 2 guys up as far as how many center duos we would take in the NBA. They may be like top 7, top 5 now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, whenever we did that exercise, it was like, what do you want, like the MVP level guy, or with a bad backup, or would you rather have the 2 really good guys? But yeah, I mean, they've it's just nice not having to work. I mean, all of the years, it's insane. Like, I was thinking about the Mavericks trades over in the Luka era and how active they've been at the trade deadline. Like, I remember the Wendell Carter Jr., the Willie Cauley-Stein trade. Like, that was supposed to be an answer to our center position.
I feel like it was for like a quarter.
Yeah, I mean, that was like the Nerlens Noel saga, and like wanting to pay him and him going to get a hot dog. Like,
I was there.
All of that was just.
I saw him get that hot dog.
He was supposed to be the one. Nerlens was. But man, what of
and how about Moses Brown? He had a 2020 game for the Thunder, and then all of a sudden Moses Brown.
I was never there for that. I was never on the Moses Brown train whatsoever. But yeah, that was another one too. Where it was like, let's just find somebody, please. Like, any of these, what's the name of that guy? What's the name of that guy that the Mavs have their summer league roster who's 7'4"?
Jamarian Sharp.
Jamarian Sharp. Yeah, if this were 5 years ago, we would be like, please play Jamarian Sharp.
Hey, there are Mavs fans all through preseason that were like, give this guy a shot. And I'm like, that's residual from from all the years of not having a center, right? Like, of going back.
We'd be having 5 years ago, we'd be having Omax maybe at the 5. Like,
gotta play small. You gotta play small. I mean, gotta do that.
Maybe
they did that all the way.
There.
They did that all the way through the 2022 run. And I think I agree that they would be doing that. We also were talking about, could the Mavericks get a all defensive player this season for the first time since Tyson Chandler back in 2011? And I don't know. Lively to me is looking pretty good, but PJ would probably be the one that gets it. And I thought PJ played some pretty good defense today too.
Yeah, PJ would be my vote just because he's the more, I think, more versatile and important piece for the Mavericks defensively. And I mean, Lively's really good as well. But I just think PJ would have a better chance than D-Live at this point in time.
Something about having both of those guys together just really shores up that defense. And the
size, man.
You just don't have to worry. Yeah, the size, the rebounding. It's been really great to have both of those guys at the same time and to not have to really worry about that. The Mavs, do you know what the Mavs defense is when Lively's on the court?
Really good?
102.8. defensive rating.
Over the course of the season?
Yeah, with 833 possessions. That's on cleaning the glass.
Wow,
that is insane. That's a really good defense.
That's crazy.
When he's off, it's 115.6, so that's like below average. So
that's a huge swing. I didn't know it was like that.
That's a number that'd stand out to voters where you go, their defense is that much better when he's on the court. And I think
I'm interested what Lively and PJ together is. 103.
There you go.
Go
check that out. And coming up, let's get into Luka and Kyrie. Really got this game going, and they were the ones that really built the lead. Kyrie got a couple of clutch buckets, and then let's talk about those two guys going off together, what it means for the Mavs, and more coming up.
You don't believe you shouldn't be here.
Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by our friends at Mint Mobile. You've got too many things to worry about in your life, and if you're like me, I check out my budget and I just go line by line and I go, all right, where can I cut down? Where can I cut down on things? Because every year it feels like the streaming services, they all go up by like $5 or $6, and then something else goes up, and then all of a sudden, your HOA is like, all right, that's gonna go up too. Your rent goes up every year, and like, all right, what's something that I can check down on, and what's something that I can lower? Mint Mobile is that thing to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at just $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any of Mint Mobile's plans and bring your phone number along with your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal. Get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15, go to mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Locked On NBA. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower, above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of our fans, the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call you guys. Thanks to Isaac and his really weird day he had one time. Check out the QR code or the links in the description to find other ways to follow us. We've got the newsletter that we mentioned before. We're still the #1 newsletter in all of Locked On. That's right. We're trying to be the #1 insider group in all of Locked On. We're getting there. We've got 300 of you on the Locked On Mavs Insider. So we appreciate you guys. You get text straight to your phone. I send notes and stuff and alerts on the Mavs. Any rumor that I see or hear, I'll send it to you right away. So subscribe to that. Help support the show and all that. So subscribe to Locked On Mavs Insiders. Check the link or the QR code to get that sent straight to your phone. All right, Slightly. Let's talk about Luka and Kyrie. They go off in this one. Luka, 30 points, 13 boards, 11 assists. Another triple-double for Luka. Yawn. But in 38 minutes, he hits 6 threes as well. Hits a heave at half court. They called it 35 feet. It seemed longer to me than that, but hits a heave at halftime, which is just one of his favorite things. What did you see from Luka tonight?
Well, technically that wouldn't be a heave because it was inside the half court line.
I don't know. He heaved it.
I would have considered it a heave, but I don't think it's going to count as a heave. But anyway, I mean, my favorite thing, 6 to 13 from 3. It feels like the 3 ball is back for Luka. And since he returned from his wrist injury. I thought he was great tonight. Had 4 steals as well. Thought he played really well defensively. And, what quarter was it? Third quarter, he had 11 points. Second quarter, he had 10 points. Just these scoring barrages, especially against teams that don't have an answer for that, just in terms of star power. It's so difficult to overcome. And the Raptors tried their best. Credit to them. But, when Luka can just pop off like that and the crowd, like he's shooting a 3 and you just hear the away crowd. It's like, oh, my God. Like anytime he goes to shoot, it's like, oh, here we go. Here goes Luka. And tonight I thought this is my favorite type of Luka right here, is the insane playmaking Luka. Like he had 11 assists. It feels like he could have had way more. But some of the passes he was throwing were crazy. Insane hit-aheads, insane skip passes, perfect lobs. He had a lob to Gafford that I thought the Raptors played the pick and roll really well, and that there wasn't even really a lob. But there was a small, tiny window where that pass could have been, and Luka just perfectly laid it in there. So these are my type of games from Luka that I absolutely love. Just the playmaking clinic.
On that pass, it's like, if you have like a an attic upstairs, and there's a little window in the attic that's just like, it would just be big enough for a basketball. It's like he had to throw it in there. It's like he had to throw it up and high and just perfect to get it through that one opening, and he got it right to Gafford. That was a wild play. The one where he passed to Klay from half court. Klay was in the right corner. Luka was on the left half court mark, and he passed it through guys. There's a screenshot, I think Isaac posted it, of Lively's face because the ball whizzed right behind his head as Lively was running, and Luka started that pass before Lively had ran across that window, which is wild to like see everything happening in motion, and then all of a sudden make that pass to Klay. Klay thankfully made the shot. Shout out to Klay for making that shot. We talked all summer about how Klay will finally finish those crazy passes that Luka makes.
And shout out to Lively not being me. Like, thank God that wasn't me in Dereck Lively's spot, because I would have tried to catch the pass. Like here we go.
So he wasn't looking. I don't think he would. I think he just felt the wind by it and was like, wait, what? Like, just totally caught off guard by it. There was also the one where Luka's trying to post up Jonathan Mobo, and Sean Woodley of Locked On Raptors is huge on Jonathan Mobo. He like loves everything that he does. He's a great defender, can do a lot of things. Not a great shooter, even though I think he hit 2 threes tonight. But he kind of stood Luka up, and Luka had a hard time getting around him because he's really strong and really athletic. And then Luka had to throw that behind his head pass to Kyrie right behind him, and Kyrie hit the 3. That was an insane pass too.
Yeah, I mean, just his feel for the game is so incredible, and that's all the stuff at the beginning of the season where that play you were talking about. Mobo was standing him up, but help was going towards Luka, and that's why Kyrie was so wide open for 3. So he just felt the help, knew it was coming from Kyrie's guy, knew where Kyrie was. That over the head pass. I mean, that's a pass right there. That over the head pass we take for granted because that's 99% of that's a 99% of the NBA's best pass of the season, probably. So
we're putting that in their career highlight reel.
Yeah, for him, we see it so often, and when he's hitting shots and he's going offensively, and he's in his best score in the world bag that we know he's very capable of being in, then it just opens up so many things offensively.
I have a stat for you. They shared it on the broadcast. Mavs PR also tweeted it out. I want you to tell me if this is something or nothing to you as a Mavs fan. Does this mean anything to you or not?
Okay.
Luka recorded his 300th career 20 point, 5 rebound, 5 assist game in 418 career games. So 300 in 418 games. He is the second fastest player ever to get to that mark. LeBron James was 25 years old, 61 days. Oscar Robertson, he did it in, LeBron did it in like, how did they say it? LeBron did it in a bunch more games. Oscar Robertson was the fastest one to get there, but Luka got to 325 in 5 games faster than LeBron did.
Does that mean something?
Does it mean something to you or nothing to you?
Yeah, because if you do anything faster than LeBron, you're doing something right.
They tweeted how old they were, but they didn't tweet how many days or how many games it was for LeBron. So that's what got me tripped up on that. But yeah, I don't know. It just shows that Luka just fills it up every game and has been great since the beginning. And
yeah,
it's wild.
Anytime you're in conversation with the greatest of all time, you're in good hands.
Speaking of Kyrie Irving, 29 points, had 16 points in the first quarter. We finally saw Kyrie go off early in a game like this. Started 5 of 5, finished 6 of 9 from 3 in this one, and it got him a bucket when they needed. That clutch bucket that I mentioned, minute 45 left. The Mavs were only up by 6, and they just needed a bucket. And Kyrie, and they had the crazy, like, Dinwiddie had an it was a 6-point game. Dinwiddie had an ISO on Grady Dick, and he missed it. And then PJ Washington, a crazy throwaway in the outlet that he tried to throw to Luca, which was a really just terrible pass. That's a pass you make in the second quarter and not in the last 5 minutes, like the last 5 minutes of the game. And Scotty Barnes then threw it back to PJ, so that worked out. And Kyrie was like, "All right, let's everybody settle down. I'm gonna go get a drive and scoop layup at the rim."
Yeah, it was an interesting Kyrie game. 23 points in the first and third quarter on 7 of 11 shooting in the first and third quarter.
Yeah,
and then in the rest of the game, he had 6 points on 3 total shots. So just the classic Kyrie, though, where it's like, all right, I need to go get some buckets. Like, he was cooking in the first quarter. It's like, oh my God, Kyrie might pop off for 40 or 50 tonight. But you just know Kyrie comes in the second quarter. Luka's doing his thing. Some other guys are playing well, so Kyrie's just kind of let that kind of happen. Third quarter, he comes out. He's cooking again. And then, fourth quarter, I think for a team, I guess we'll talk about it here in a bit, but fourth quarter got a little bit rough there. And I would have liked to see Kyrie be maybe a little bit more aggressive in that quarter. Same thing with not necessarily aggressive, but just the team as a whole. I wish that they got some better shots than they did in that fourth quarter offensively. But yeah, it was. I mean, he was cooking in the first quarter. How many threes did he hit?
He was 4 of 4 in that first quarter. He started 5 of 5.
Unbelievable. Like and difficult threes as well. Like again, it's Toronto has a great basketball crowd where they're one of those crowds where if the opposing team's players start popping off, they're like they get great reactions. It's not like oh my god, this sucks.
That's where Kobe scored 81. That's where Kobe scored 81.
They're used to it. So they know. Toronto, like they're used to watching guys go crazy out their court.
Shout out to Toronto.
Shout out to Toronto. Great city.
But great game from Kyrie. You'll take it. Got him buckets when they needed it and settled them down when they needed it. Got him started early. I don't know that they needed him to get them started early, but he was the one that had it hot. And the Mavs right now are kind of in this mode of like, all right, we don't have a set game plan of who. Like last year, I feel like they had a game plan. Luka goes off in the first quarter, then Kyrie eventually in the third quarter or fourth quarter goes off, right? And that was sort of their game plan. And this year, it's they have more scorers, so it could be PJ, it could be Dinwiddie, it could be going to the bigs a couple times in that first quarter. It doesn't matter who gets going first, but we're able to empower that player to get going. And I thought that Kyrie was the one in this one.
Yeah, this is the way to go right here.
Yeah,
it can lead to some frustrating moments. It can lead to something that they really need to clean up, which is these turnovers. This is a team that historically in the Luka era has not turned the ball over at all. They're always towards the very bottom of the league in turnovers. They've had some bad turnover problems in recent games, and part of that is because they're moving the ball around and more guys have the ball in their hands, and it's going to lead to that PJ Washington very ill-advised hit a head pass. It's going to lead to Gafford had 4 turnovers in this one. It's part of it, but I think ultimately it's better.
It is. It's definitely better. But coming up, let's talk about how the Mavs blew this lead. Let's talk about the things that went wrong, what happened to the Mavs, and then we'll give some props to some other players as well. Let's get into that coming up.
You don't believe you shouldn't be here.
Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds, things that you can use to get in on the action. They've got the NBA Cup odds. You can put down $5, get $150 in bonus bet if your first bet wins. They've got the first game of the Cup. Mavs, Thunder, 5-point favorite. Opening as a 5-point favorite on there. You can get 176 on the Mavs money line as well. If you want to just pick them straight up, you can do that too. Put down $5 on either of those things, and if one of those wins, if you think the Mavs are going to win that game, put it on either of those numbers, and then all of a sudden you can get $150 in bonus bets to use on anything else, NFL or college football or anything like that. Hopefully you didn't use it on Texas or on SMU or anything related to Dallas, I guess, in college football. Go check out FanDuel, see what they have available for you. It's America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Slightly, let's talk about this game because the Mavs blew a 24-point lead. It went all the way down to 5. And I feel like it brought me back to last year and even the year before where we're like, all right, here we go again, this Mavs team. But this Mavs team this year has not blown leads like this. What went into the Mavs blowing that lead? You mentioned turnovers. They had 18 in this one. They averaged 14, and they had, 10 in the first half. And I think that was one of the reasons why they kind of blew that at the end there. But was there any other reasons, or was it just that you saw that they blew that lead?
Well, I mean, they went 1 of 9 from 3 in the fourth quarter, 6 of 18 from the field. So they stopped hitting some shots, and they got some decent looks that just didn't drop. But also that their offense got way too stagnant. They kind of succumb to this sometimes when they have a decently sized lead where it's like, let's just bomb threes and see if we can't make this a 30-point game in the next few minutes. Yeah. And the Raptors, Luca kind of mentioned it in his post-game interview, but the Raptors were hitting some threes that they're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the NBA, right? But in the second half of this game, they were 5 of 11 in the third quarter, 4 of 8 in the fourth. So we're hitting threes that you're not really used to seeing them hit, and that kind of clawed their way back into it. And defensively, it was a bit of a struggle in the fourth quarter. I think a lot of that too was the Mavs are missing shots, and it led to the Raptors getting out a little bit in transition. So just would like to see them be a little bit more focused offensively down the stretch of games like these, and they'll clean it up. They still got the win, so all's good.
They got it's got the win. We're not blowing it up because of this. But first half, the Mavs allow 54 points. Second half, the Mavs allow 64 points. I think the defense to me was the difference. You mentioned the threes. You got 2 threes from Jonathan Moba, who's not a shooter. and he got 2. You got 2 from Scott Barnes. Then you got 2 from Olynyk, who came back. This is his first game back, yeah. And then you got 3 from Dick.
Yeah, he was good tonight.
He was good. Dick has been good this season.
Yeah, my chat was telling me to call you Nick Dick because you got a little family.
I know.
We did resemblance.
We did this whole thing in that draft where Isaac and I, it was one of the legendary episodes of Locked On Mavs where we just riffed on his name the whole time, and people kept saying how much I look like him.
I could see there being a little family resemblance, like if you both came from like England farmers from 1300s. Like I could see it.
Just me and Grady Dick baling hay.
Yeah.
I used to get Kyle Korver. Now I get Grady Dick. It's just the white shooter.
You don't look like Kyle Korver.
The Kyle Korver with the long hair, like when he was like that.
What? Okay, so obviously that last name is funny, but like, where is that? I wonder what part of the world that's from. That's obviously
where dicks are from.
Well, I know where dicks are from, but I'm saying more so like Great Britain. That's what I thought. I thought that had to be the Brits. There's no way that wasn't the Brits.
Should I search Dick surname origin on Google? Can I do that?
I just put a Dick last name and just hope for the best.
Oh, it's a name means son of Dick or son of Richard, like Dixon. So maybe like it was Dixon, and then they cut off the oh man, they castrated the end of the name.
Hey, they circumcised it.
No, the end instead of. Oh, we got a good game from Klay. We got a good game from Klay Thompson. This one, Klay Thompson, 20 points, 16.
Is it going on TV?
No, only the first 2 segments. That's why I saved it. I saved it from. I saved it for the end.
My grandparents watched this.
Jeff Skidway told us his mom Gator was watching us. I'm not doing dick jokes in front of Gator, right?
No. Well, we're not making dick jokes. We're just making Grady Dick jokes.
That's right. Klay Thompson, 20 points, 16 shots. We mentioned the stat yesterday that the Mavs were 3-8 when he takes, they had not won a bunch of games when he takes more than 15 shots, and they won this one.
Yeah, well, I thought he was good tonight. I mean, 3 of 9 from 3, but 20
That's
points. Fine. We'll gladly take that.
Yeah, he got other stuff going. I thought he had something. He hit that shot from Luca that you mentioned. Yeah, he had some good stuff today. Got some other things going besides just the catch and shoot threes. So just catch and shoot 3 numbers have been good. Isaac talked about those in the episode yesterday. So if you missed that bonus show, go listen to that one. But well, yeah, solid stuff from Klay, and you'll take it. And they only played him 25 minutes. That's the thing. They still have not won a game when he plays more than 30 minutes.
I mean, I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see where a scenario would arise where he's closing, because right now he's just not. He's not in the closing 5. But the Mavs have been. Obviously on a winning streak, and they've been ahead in all of these games down the stretch, pretty much. So I'm wondering, like,
he's also older too. Like you don't want to play him. You don't want to play him too much. But
I'm interested to see if there's we're down 6 with 2 minutes left, and we have to have. You got to shooting on the court. Like,
got to get some.
He's
shots.
In our closing 5 in that moment. Like that's what I'm interested to see.
Well, Dinwiddie has been elite shooting lately.
Yeah, that's true.
Not in this one. 104. But 8 of 8 from the free throw line.
I was about to say, I thought Spence had a great game because he was our foul grifting smoothie king out there.
Yeah, he got RJ Barrett his 5th foul. That was a smart play right there. And yeah, 11 points off the bench. You'll take that going to the free throw line 8 times. That helps the Mavericks too. Just he's been helpful, man.
Off 1 make. That's gross.
Efficiency.
Our unethical hooper.
Gafford 10.6 boards. Coming off the bench too, you mentioned the turnovers. That was tough, but 3 block shots. I thought overall that he's able to take advantage of some of these teams. You play smaller, you play, with centers that aren't the best defensively, and then Gafford can take advantage of you.
Yep, Doc Gafford had a good game. Him and D Live both played well, and that's what you want out of your center tandem. So Gafford doing the things we expect Gafford to do.
One more thing in honor of Isaac. Omax, we got some solid Omax minutes.
I wouldn't even say solid. I would say that's some of the best Omax minutes of his career, straight up.
In the home country of Canada.
That's had to be what it was.
5 points, 6 boards, 3 offensive rebounds, 2 assists. He got a block, got a steal, hit a 3. These were the best Omax minutes, definitely that we've seen of this year so far.
Oh, easily of this season. I mean, I'd have to look at what he did last year. I feel like he had decent games last year.
Yeah. Definitely.
I thought like that, what we saw tonight from Omax was kind of this idea that you've had in your head of Omax was this just like super high energy guy who is really lengthy, really rangy. You know, he had 6 rebounds. He had 3 offensive rebounds, like just kind of flying around the court, got to the free throw line, got a clean look from 3. And he made a 3 and then had a really nice like extra pass to the corner for Klay, who hit a 3 off of an assist from Omax. Like this was what you kind of were hoping for Omax. And we take the positives as we can get them. And the flashes are nice. It keeps us going. It keeps us, like, all right. We give you,
I won't sell my cottage on Omax Island. Like, all right.
Yes. All right. I just
hold on to it.
I just bought another acre. Like I'm buying the dip.
Hold on to it for another season.
Yeah, we'll see if the crops grow next season.
The crops. Yeah, so that's where we are with him right now. And you wish you could get this consistently from him, because then your maxi problem then becomes a little bit less, because now you at least have 2 options to go in that 4 spot. And so hopefully we see some more stuff like this from Omax. But it really is just that hustle. If you can hit a 3 and then that defense, can you give us those things? Can you make good decisions? And I thought he made good decisions. Didn't rush himself in a game like this.
Yeah, I know, and that's really it. The game looks fast for him at times. That's really part of his major problem. And it looked good tonight. Like they needed his energy too. Like this is a type of game where Kid mentioned this, and I hadn't really thought about it, but their travel schedule has been insane. Like when you look at it, going to the West Coast, coming back, going to the East Coast, then going back to the West Coast, then going back home, and then going to the East Coast. Like they haven't had any like back-to-back home games in weeks. Their last back-to-back home game was their loss against the Suns.
Yeah, where they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home games in a row, and then they've been on this crazy road and one-off home game stretch.
Just crazy schedule. So I didn't really even realize that it was that weird. They have a pretty big home stretch coming up, but in games like these where you're exhausted, like you've been traveling so much, you've been away from home so much, having these young energy guys is really important. So I thought Omax had some good minutes tonight for sure.
For now, they go into the NBA Cup. They'll play the Thunder, and then we'll see what happens. They'll have at least one more game for sure, right?
2 more.
So they'll play at least 2 more games for sure. Well, the Thunder game and then...
Oh, yeah, Thunder game and then another one, yes.
Thunder game and then at least another one after that. For sure. We don't know what the other game is. But if they beat the Thunder, then all of a sudden you're in Vegas. And then I heard somebody say the other day, the Mavs may be just thankful to just hang out in Vegas for a little while so that they're in one place instead of traveling around like they have. But then, like you said, after the Cup, they have 4 home games in a row that they'll be thankful for. And we'll be here for every single one of them. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. Check the QR code for other ways that you can follow and subscribe this show. Check out Slightly Biased' YouTube channel. Great stuff all the time over there. Guys, thanks for listening to Locked On Mavs. Peace out. Boom!
It's Cup time, baby.
Cup it.